together could provide some action.
And you can certainly see the different lines.
Oh, Mario's off course and into the tire barriers. His last race at Detroit, but remember, they got Mike Groff out of the barriers and got him going. You can't tell how much damage might exist to the front of the car, but the fact that he's in so deeply, especially with the left side, there may be some damage there.
It's so easy sometimes. It's going to damage the wings for sure, and sometimes maybe the suspension, like it did on Mike Groff, but maybe it didn't hurt very much. You know, it's so easy to get into the tires here on a course like this. I'm sure we can see his front wings have been hurt quite a bit there, because you can see the tires wrapped around it. They're really good. So it's not good news for Mario.
Another issue is the car stalled, and how tough will it be to get it going again? Because if the damage is superficial, he could make it back to the pits and get a new nose cone. Trouble is, look at the time that's being lost.
And look at the skid marks. He just came straight off the corner on the exit, Bobby.
Yes, he did, but that's also could have been from oil that somebody dropped on the road, or there could have been another car that he was lapping that was having a bit of a problem. That's very often what happens at a track like this.
Well, remember last year, Bobby, they really had just a single groove to run in by this part of the race, because the tires had worn so much. The rest of the track was what we call marbles. And this year it's better. The tire compound is different for this race than it was last year. It's a little bit harder. But even so, by this point in the race, if you get off the line very much, you can get in trouble.
Well, Mario sat there so long that he's just pretty much out of the race right now. Even if he gets back in, he's totally out of contention. He's hung up with the tires too hard.
Ford Electronics on board Robbie Gordon's car. Boy, they've done a nice job with this, too, giving us the gear as well. The report, of course, from the IndyCar safety team, we could pretty much tell Mario Andretti is not injured in that accident. You'll see him coming up on the left. Well, gone.
And just watch the speedometer where it says MPH over there. Watch how fast these cars accelerate. They'll go from almost nothing into way over 100 miles an hour and just almost nothing flat.
Look at this fight with Villeneuve. They continue to battle for 5th place.
Two young guys that really have a lot to prove.
Both in their mid-20s. Jacques Villeneuve having his rookie year. Robbie Gordon, of course, his 3rd year.
Mario is staying in with that car. That was our broadcast booth that just flashed by on the left there, right on the edge of the course. A terrific view. And they've got Mario started again. And we'll look at the car for damage.
Look at that car. It's still basically together. Now, how in the world could you have a wreck like that and not have any more problems? Look at the wings are still on it. The wings are still there. It's amazing what those tires will do to cushion a crash.
You know, for years, barriers with no protection.
That would have normally been hitting a cement wall or something like that would be a $100,000 wreck. Really
what a simple solution to use tires.
And they band them together. If you don't band them together with the steel straps, they don't work.
Let's go up forward now. Nigel Mansell as he chases Fittipaldi. Jack Arute, you have an addition?
Well, it just goes to show you the cooperation. At last year's drivers' meeting at this race, the drivers brought up a point about in the runoff areas, if they could add more rows of tires, they thought they could slow the cars down with less damage. That's what Wally Dallenbach, Kirk Russell, and the rest of them did. And there you see it. Saved $100,000 for Mario Andretti.
And so simply, too. Mansell now in pursuit of Fittipaldi. This is a fight for 3rd.
But earlier, Mansell, I noticed, was having trouble with his right front wheel locking up under braking. Now, if he's going to get by Emerson, it's probably going to be under braking, and yet he is not able really to brake that deep. It's going to be interesting to see if he's able to get by, exactly what tactic he uses.
Well, Sammy pushes on him really hard, just as he did earlier, and then he backs off a little bit, lets Emo have a little breather. What it is, still the same old deal. He's trying to worry him to death before he takes a real hard run at him.
So Mansell in pursuit. Allenser Jr. leads Paul Tracy by 6 seconds, so no contest at the front of the field. We'll continue to watch Fittipaldi and Mansell. Mark Smith just ahead of them. This could be the other thing that Mansell waits for, which is a slower car, and use him for a billiard shot.
Yes, that's what I started to mention, Paul. You got it just before I did. Look at Mansell now. He's right on Fittipaldi's tail. This is when he's got to do it, because if he can lock Emo into a certain place behind Mark Smith, he gets by him real easy.
Yeah, Mark Smith didn't want any part of that.
Well, we're talking about sportsmanship here, though. He saw who was behind him. Mark Smith just intentionally pulled right over. It wasn't a let-by. He just deliberately made sure the track was clear for these two men.
Look ahead to Fittipaldi's car. From time to time on a gear change, you can see a flash of flame. from the exhaust. The exhaust is just behind the half shafts, extending out to the two rear wheels.
That's caused by when you shift, the fuel keeps getting in the turbocharger. The turbocharger running like 1,800.
Oh, and Fernandez into the wall. He moves around. Apparently he's okay, though the right rear of the car looks like it suffered some heavy damage.
This time, the cash register is ringing. He has hurt the car.
Again, the IndyCar safety crews are right there, but this is a very precarious position.
A lot of warning before they get there. The flagmen around here really give the drivers a lot of warning so they don't get hit by another car.
Little Al comes in for a stop, Jack.
Scheduled stop for Al Unser Jr. Number 31, as you said, Al Jr. trying to change history by making it a winning car number in IndyCar competition. They are going to make, gentlemen, no changes on the car. They have completed the fueling. That's what they want to make sure they get a full load. They do in 15.0 seconds.
Jack, of course, you mentioned that winning streak. This would be his 4th consecutive win if he can manage it. Only one other person has done that in recent history, and that is himself. He had a winning streak 4 in a row back in 1990.
As Little Al comes up to speed, Paul Tracy takes over the lead of the race. Little Al stopped on the 49th lap. But here's a change. The yellow comes out. So Al Unser Jr., if he could have held off for a lap, would have made the stop under yellow.
Yes, but it isn't going to hurt him too bad, Paul, because the other guys like Paul Tracy are going to have to go in. And this is going to turn out to be one of those situations where first in, first out. So she should end up being up near the front, with the exception of the ones that are out of phase on his pit
That's
stop.
what I was going to ask you. This is going to help those guys immensely.
It'll help them immensely right now.
Men like Brian Herta.
Now, Mario, of course, with his incident, has dropped back through the field and is not in competition for the lead of the race in any way. In fact, he's not in the top 20. They wait for Paul Tracy and Emerson Fittipaldi. There's Fittipaldi, Jack.
The teammates come together. Now, Emerson Fittipaldi was complaining about a slight push, so we'll wait to see if the crew will make any major changes. Paul Tracy is off and away as we continue to watch the service on Nigel Mansell's car as well. A very busy time in a full course yellow. Mansell continuing his work. Meanwhile, further up pit road, Emerson Fittipaldi and Paul Tracy have completed their work, while Robbie Gordon continues to get his service in his Valvoline machine.
Whoa, Fittipaldi on the roll comes out right alongside of Mansell. Mansell got scored with the lead of the lap because he's pitted on the other side of the line. Let's go to Gary.
Well, Paul, that situation resulted when Mansell started to accelerate out of the pits, just as Jacques Villeneuve, 2 pits ahead, pulled in. They came within inches of hitting each other. Villeneuve stopped on a dime. Mansell hammered it and got out of there. He left rubber streaks all the way down pit road as he accelerated. But again, they were